family. Welcome to my health and wellness brand, Body, Mind, and Spirit. My name is Christie Ramirez, and I am a health and wellness expert. I'm here today showing up for our video to talk about my new services. These are coaching services that I want to open myself up to all of you and offer as a gift for all of you who have health and wellness as your New Year resolutions. I know that many people have lost their way when it comes to their healthy lifestyle, their wellness practice, and they might be feeling out of place, not knowing where to start, and even wanting to start but not feeling motivated enough to start or follow through. And this is where I combine my psychology experience and career with my nutrition background. And it's the first service that I'm offering today is my wellness coaching. Wellness coaching offers mostly advice on how to create a healthy lifestyle and then live it and follow through on it. And I know that this is one of our top New Year resolutions because health is wealth. And wellness is about feeling good and it's about emotional well-being. And this is where I come in as a combination of a soul coach and health and wellness expert and putting them into one. This is where I bring in my psychology expertise and help you with my psychology background and little tips on how to keep health and wellness a part of your day-to-day life. Because it's more than just wanting to make it a part of your life, and it's more than just the motivation, but it's actually also psychological and human behavior, and making a new habit stick takes work, but it also takes strategy. And this is where I come in. And I would love to meet once a week so that way we follow through and keep in touch as to how you are going along with your new healthy lifestyle. This new year is about creating a new you that is in alignment with your body, mind, and spirit. And the next service that I offer today is nutrition coaching. This is where I bring in my personal experience with nutrition, being that I've always been enthusiastic about nutrition, but I also did go to graduate school to study nutrition. So I took graduate nutrition courses at the University of Miami. And this is where I learned how to make holistic nutrition a part of a meal plan for the day, for the week, for your month, for your year, depending on your goals and what it is that you're after. And I also, come up with different recipes. That's what my holistic nutrition series is for and why I created it, because it will help when I do individual coaching with any of you. And part of also my nutrition coaching is, making sure that you are getting enough fuel and nutrients in your day through your meal plan. This is about the quality of food, but also the quantity, because that does matter as well, depending on your goal, your body composition goals, your health goals, because all of that comes into play when you are creating a meal plan and a specific meal plan to you. This is not the cookie cutter meal plans that you will see out in the market or in the media just to make money. But I really am very caring about your health, and I know from experience and with my own body that everybody's body reacts differently because of their different metabolisms, their different activities during the day. And activity is not only physical, it's also mental, whatever emotional stresses you're going through as well. If you're going through stress, that also plays a role in how your meal plan is going to differ. So all of these factors come into play when I create a specific meal plan for you. And if you're interested in any of my services this new year, you can go to christieramirez.com/booking to book your session today, and it's going to change your life. It's going to change your life. And I know that this new year, it's no more time to waste, no more waiting as well to cross that off your to-do list before you focus on your health or your wellness. Enough of that. This is the moment to make you a priority. And this is by taking the action, reaching out to me if you need that help, that guidance. And if you don't, if you feel like you can do it on your own, then check out my membership subscription programs this year. But I know that everybody needs that person, because unless this is like your number one passion and you know what you're doing, then it's going to be a struggle. And I know because the struggle has been real for many people. I've seen this with my own eyes. And even anybody who's enthusiastic about this journey, it can also be a struggle when you're out in social activities or people in your life don't understand. If you're living with family members that are not on this healthy lifestyle, then it's going to be that much more difficult to follow it through on yourself. So you need to set the example about what kind of life you want to live. And if those around you don't understand, then either teach them or make it known by being insistent with this lifestyle that you're living. And don't quit, and reach out to me if you need that extra fortitude, that extra support, because that's what I'm here for as your wellness coach, as your nutrition coach. I really hope to hear from you all this new year, because sharing information is caring, sharing knowledge is caring. And I have a lot of knowledge about nutrition, about living a healthy lifestyle, and I want to give you these little tips that are going to help you on your journey. Because believe it or not, let's get down before I say goodbye to all of you this year. I do want to share a few of my top 10 tips for following through on your New Year resolutions, on your wellness goals, your health and wellness goals. And my number one tip is, first of all, seeking the support needed if needed, right? If you either need to learn more about the lifestyle or you want that extra motivation, definitely reach out. Don't hold back. Don't keep to yourself, but find someone who you admire or who you would like to be like, or who you see that has the knowledge. Any of those three prerequisites are going to be a great candidate for you to reach out to that person. The number two tip for keeping up with your New Year resolutions, let's take a little break here, and that's part of keeping up with your health and wellness goals as well, is take as many breaks as you need throughout your day or throughout your life to make time for this health and wellness practice. Remember, making health and wellness a part of your life actually takes time and energy to prepare your meals, prepare your schedule, get some movement in, your spiritual practice, meditation, yoga. All of these things take time out of your day, but it can be done. And that brings me to number 3, which is organization. All right, so number 3, organization. Organization is one of my greatest secrets when it comes to getting a lot of things done. And this falls into play today as my top tip for keeping up with your New Year resolutions, because if you have a busy lifestyle or you have a lot of other goals that are not related to your health and wellness this year, how are you going to fit that into your planner, your routine, your schedule for the day? And it's about organization. So part of this tip 3 with organization also comes meticulousness, which is meaning being very detailed with even an hourly schedule, making sure that you are on time to your activities that you said you were going to show up for, and making sure that you finish in a timely manner as well, right? Let's say you have something scheduled for 2 to 3, or you have a 9 to 5 job, but if you don't, if you're an entrepreneur like myself, you know that 9 to 5 doesn't exist in your life, right? It's like a 24/7 job, or at least a 12 to 16 hour job to be more realistic. And sometimes they can be very sporadic hours, right? Unless you organize yourself and find the discipline to create your own block schedule if needed. And that's how you're able to fit in more self-care, more movement, exercise, time for cooking and baking your healthy meals and desserts, because all of that can be done as well in bulk, meaning that you can cook 2 to 3 times out of the week instead of one day, taking it out for cooking like several hours, or cooking every day as well, which is very unrealistic. Which brings me to tip number 4. Make sure that your routine, your goals are realistic. You don't want to be too far-fetched, and you don't want to be too of a high overachiever unless you're close to that goal, right? I'm not saying that you can't achieve it, but keep within the time frame that is realistic. So maybe this high dream of yours, one goal that is very overreaching, it is possible. I'm the first one to tell you that miracles are possible, but maybe not in a year. Maybe it's like a 2 to 3 year project, right? And so I'm telling you to be more realistic with monthly goals, and then yearly goals. So that way, you not only do you not get frustrated by the end of the year if you don't achieve it, but also you are going to be seeing progress faster that way, right? With this realistic goal that you set for yourself. And that way, being proud of yourself actually incentivizes you and motivates you to keep going. That's a psychology advice right there. If you set a goal that's too far reaching, and I'm talking about like years down the road, that is not achievable in a year, because there's many goals that way, right? There's many goals that take a lifetime of work or several years of work. And if you set that for this year, let's say for a yearly goal, you're gonna get frustrated that you're so far out from that goal. And that's gonna unmotivate you. And that's where a lot of people actually fall down and off the bandwagon of their New Year resolutions, especially when it comes to health and wellness goals. That's where they completely go in the opposite direction, or they forget to even implement their health and wellness practices. And then their goals, their healthy lifestyle, right? They're back in square one, they're back in their unhealthy habits that not only self-sabotage their progress, but destroy their life. And you don't want to be in that category. So it's a very strong tip today to make sure that these goals are very realistic within the year frame, and then break it down into monthly, weekly, and even daily goals. And that's how you're able to get very specific and make these goals come true. Now let's bring in tip number 4 for making your New Year resolutions come about this year. And that would be, like we said, number 1, support system. I would say that number 4 is maybe even make it like more of a community thing, right? Like find a group of people or a community or an environment, or maybe like certain group, like my membership programs are considered groups, right? Versus a coach, which is number 1, a person that's a support system. Now I'm telling you to seek several people as a support system, like an environment, a group that will support that healthy lifestyle. So for example, let's say that you love to do meditation and yoga. Why not try going to a yoga studio where there's many like-minded people coming together for that activity? If you like to cook healthy foods, why not perhaps take like a baking class? Maybe you'll meet other people there that are on that same hobby or vibration of what you love to do, or join groups online, right? And where people share their own unique journey, their recipes, my holistic nutrition series, and then that's how you create more of a support system, right? When there's several people in that energy of what it is that you want to manifest, and that's how we're able to also make these goals stick. So it's not about trying to do it all alone, although a lot of the work does get done on an individual basis, because this is a personal journey, right? Which would bring me to tip number 5 when it comes to your New Year resolutions. It's to not compare yourself to other people's progress on their journey and their health and wellness goals, right? This is where you hone in on your own goal, your own journey, and focus on where you want to reach. And then just stick to that. And you can still be in a community, which is tip number 4, but still be focused on your journey particularly. And this is where the beauty comes in, when everybody's sharing their own unique experience and sharing their own struggles while also victories on their journey. And it's a very different energy to that conversation versus trying to compare, contrast, or even be competitive with one another. That's so not attractive, right? We want to all be supportive of one another and come together to lift each other's spirit up. And that's how we create true revolution and progress and making it stick as a healthy lifestyle, right? So that's beautiful. Let's move on now to tip number 6 for making these New Year resolutions stick this new year. All right, so Alright, so tip number 6, pretty much what we discussed in the beginning, is making sure that you have a clear schedule on a daily basis. So what does your morning routine look like? My morning routine is the same every single day, which is why it's called a morning routine. I see that many people have various routines in the morning, and it differs depending on how they feel or what they need to do that day. So it's why it's not only very sporadic, but sometimes they miss out on habits that should be done every day. Like part of my morning routine, for example, I get my morning coffee. That's my morning routine, and coffee is very healthy. There's actually lifestyle tips and also videos on educational nutrition benefits and information about certain foods or certain certain foods from nature that I talk about the benefits, and coffee is one of them. It's in my holistic nutrition series. And not only does it make me more alert and awake for the day, but I also feel this inner motivation that comes by just sipping my coffee. And I know that that sounds like I'm relying on the coffee, but there are a lot of health benefits, especially for our brain more than anything with coffee. And that's why I meditate after my coffee, because I'm more alert and I'm meditating with purpose, intention. And I actually do get a lot of inspirations and creative ideas as I'm meditating, because my brain is already awake. So my morning routine sets the tone for my day. I get a healthy breakfast after that. There's very important benefits to getting breakfast, because that's exactly what it is. It's about breaking the fast between your dinner, your last meal of the night prior, and your first meal in the morning, right? So I don't just wake up and have breakfast. I have a morning routine that goes with it. I do my spiritual practice to cleanse spiritually, right? Is why my health and wellness brand is called Body, Mind, and Spirit, because I believe that health and wellness stems more than just the body. And the body is holistic nutrition, but there's also the soul inside our body. And that's where our spiritual practice comes in, which is meditation and yoga. So part of my morning routine is waking up, being grateful. These little spiritual practices make a difference. So I'm always at least pointing 1 to 3 things that I am grateful for that day. I look out the window and I'm grateful for a beautiful new day. I make my bed, because that's organization, that's cleanliness. And I'm grateful for a great night's sleep. I wake up, brush my teeth, etc., right? Fix myself up, and then I get my morning coffee. But before that, I actually get lemon water to start to stimulate my digestive system and start waking up my digestive system for the meals ahead and what's coming next, right? And also help to cleanse even further. So water and lemon is my morning routine, coffee, meditation, breakfast, and that's when I'm ready now to begin the day. So I separate my morning routine with the rest of the day. The next part of my day, which is a great tip as well, is to compartmentalize your schedule, your days, to make it happen, right? So that, I'm going to talk about that. So I'll just say it here. So if your morning routine, let's say, didn't feel your best, maybe you didn't have a great morning routine. Although for me, because it's a morning routine and it's the same every day, for me it's always the best time of my day, because I'm at peace, I am graceful, right? So that's kind of like what also routines help with, is finding the vibration that you want your routine to be like, right? So my morning routine is associated with peace because I'm meditating, is associated with focus because I'm during meditation focusing not only on what I'm going to do in the day, but also even on my long-term vision and where I'm going in life. So it's like a huge meditation that's going on in my brain while I'm doing breath work. So it's very powerful and in-depth and intense. And so that's what I associate my morning routine with, right? So it's impossible for me to feel either angry or sad or depressed in my morning routine, because the activities that I am performing in that morning routine are just like not resonating with those emotions, right? They have nothing to do with those emotions, but only peace, joy, love, focus, discipline, willpower. So you see the power of having routine. So it's why I suggest you get out a planner and start to write out your ideal routine that you would like to have every day, morning, evening, and evening specifically. And then whatever you do in the middle of the day is usually associated with your work, right? So work can differ. That's where you set more of your other goals. That's more like separate from health and wellness, right? And that's the majority of your day as well. It's the bulk of your day. It's at the center of your day, which is your work. What you do for being of service, what you do for a living, what's your purpose on this planet. And that's what your main day consists of. But your morning routine preps you for that main day, okay? And then what's for your evening routine? Maybe part of your evening routine are now these health and wellness goals. Maybe you want to take up a new exercise regimen. Maybe you want to take up yoga practice. Maybe you want to learn how to bake or cook. And these are things that you can implement also as part of your routine, or at least a couple times a week, right? So it's very important that you be specific with your routine this year if you want to make your health and wellness goals stick for lifetime, right? Because remember, it's not only about making your health and wellness goals this year happen, But then how do you make it stick for the rest of your life? Because that's what a lifestyle is, right? It's a way of living, not just a way of living for a year. It's not temporary, it's permanent. So this would bring me to tip number 7. How can you make this new routine and this new way of living, this healthy lifestyle, sustainable for the long run, forever, for the rest of your life? Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, if you're finding it a burden to keep up with these health and wellness practices, if you're in a bad mood while you're exercising or doing your yoga or meditating, then how is that sustainable, right? Unless you want to stay in that bad mood for the rest of your life, I don't think it's going to be very sustainable. So this is a huge part of making this happen, and it's about finding a way that works for you individually. And this is where wellness coaching comes in. It's where I can help you actually do a little bit of this brain work. Maybe I will see something that you missed out on or you didn't see clearly. And then that's where a second eye can be very helpful. Tip number 8 for following through on these health and wellness goals is journaling. This is a huge habit of mine that helps me stay accountable and also on track. I always journal. I have a journal for everything, trust me. And I definitely have one for my health and wellness goals. And it's what's helped me stick with it my entire life, because health and wellness has always been a huge part of who I am as Christie, right? I am health and wellness representative because this is the way that I live. And it makes me happy, right? So journaling has been one of my secrets. I have a ton of journals over the past 10 years that I've journaled what I eat, what I did that day for activity, how I felt, how many hours you slept as well, because that's a very important part of your health and wellness goals, right? Maybe you want to get higher quality sleep or more hours of sleep, right? That's something that you should write and jot down if that's one of your goals. So the power of journaling is exponential. But then there's also the freedom in journaling, is that you can create however you want, whatever works for you, whatever you want to keep track of. But I definitely suggest having a journal for these health and wellness goals. And that's separate from your work journal, from your work planner as well, because a planner is different than a journal. Now you could make them both in one, right, like a planner and journal, but make sure that you also have a journal where I'm talking about that you can express how you're feeling that day, how perhaps the routine worked for you or not that day, or what got in the way of that routine, or how can you do things better the next day. And this is how you keep track of habits, your patterns as well, and everything else in between. All of this will make sense to you when you have a journal. Tip number 9 for following through on your goals. Let us see. I would have to say my next 2 top tips for making your health and wellness goals stick. So my tip number 9 for making your health and wellness goals stick, believe it or not, is actually being compassionate with yourself. Being compassionate with your progress, loving yourself no matter what, because that's self-care and self-love 101. It's about being gentle with the progress and with your journey specifically, because if you're too harsh on yourself, or you bring in too many demands, or overly strict with your journey or where you want to reach, not only can that backfire, but that's not very kind to yourself, right? And that also reflects how you would treat another person. So this is a strong tip, and it might not seem important, but it actually very much is, because everything else will be affected by this attitude towards your goals, right? This is an attitude towards your goals. But I think it's even different. That would be tip number 10. Okay, tip number 9 is being compassionate to yourself, being loving, gentle, and kind with your progress. Because if your goal, your health and wellness goals, requires a progress, whether it's a new habit that you're trying to keep up with, or whether it's like a change in your body or a health state, right? Maybe you're dealing with something health-wise. Any of these things require patience and compassion, because your progress is going to happen at the pace that it's meant to happen. So you need to trust that you're exactly where you need to be at that right time. And if you need extra support or extra lifting up of your spirit, that's where wellness coaching comes in, or nutrition coaching if this is something that you want more extra specific help with. Because you're going to need that extra eye to tell you that you're doing good. You're doing the best that you can in that moment. So don't feel that if you're not there yet, or maybe even if you didn't keep up with that time frame that you set for that goal, Know that maybe you need a couple more weeks or maybe a couple more months, and that's okay, because your body is intelligent. So it's about listening to your body and not trying to run your body with your mind and your intellect, but actually listening to our intelligent body. And then this brings me to tip number 10. Now, tip number 10 for following through on your New Year resolutions is changing the attitude towards these goals that you have for yourself. Maybe the reason why you didn't follow through on these goals in the past could have been your attitude towards them, not believing that you could achieve it or accomplish that goal or change your life around, right? Especially when you're breaking habits that are negative or destructive or even addictions. It can be very difficult, and believe it or not, it's all in the mind. It's not physical whatsoever. Your body might feel like it's addicted to that substance or to that drug or anything that you're dealing with addiction wise, or maybe it's junk food, unhealthy food options, but it's really in the mind. When you shift your perspective about that food, that drink, or whatever substance that is unhealthy to your soul and your body, then you realize that it's much easier to achieve than you thought possible. And this gives you this extra strength, this extra confidence to change your life around and create a healthy lifestyle. And that's again where I also can be the support system as your wellness coach. I hope that you enjoyed my top 10 tips for keeping up and following through on your New Year resolutions, that your health and wellness goals this year, and that you seek me out if you are needing extra guidance for your nutrition or wellness goals. Thank you all for joining my membership subscriptions. Check them out: Holistic Nutrition Series, Meditation Series, and Yoga Series, as well as my other programs that are for sale year-round as well. There's so much going on my health and wellness brand, Body, Mind, and Spirit, where I would love to teach you more about the journey and this lifestyle that is just so beautiful and full of vitality and is going to give you this longevity. Take a look at also my nutrition lectures if you want to learn more about research-based articles and the understanding of why you should make nutrition a part of your healthy lifestyle. Thank you for watching today's video, and I will see you all soon. My name is Christie Ramirez, and I'm your health and wellness expert. Namaste. Hello, my name is Christie Ramirez, and I'm a health and wellness expert. This is my health and wellness brand, Body, Mind, and Spirit. And this new year, I want to offer to all of you my latest services: nutrition coaching and wellness coaching. If you want to turn your life around and make a health and wellness a part of your new lifestyle, seek me out for this guidance, support, motivation, and even knowledge about how to make this happen this year. Go to christieramirez.com/health and wellness to learn more about this brand. And if you want to book your session today, go to christieramirez.com/booking. Thank you all for watching today. Namaste. Health and wellness is a huge part of who I am, and without it, I wouldn't even be able to be a successful entrepreneur and keep up with all the daily tasks that I have on my planner, my schedule, because this is what keeps me not only healthy and strong, but it also keeps me grounded. Health, for me, when I think of the word health, I think of energy to do things, and energy to do things at my highest potential as well. If I'm feeling fatigued or exhausted, or I'm not having the energy to perhaps spend time with loved ones after a long day of work, I know that something is out of alignment when it comes to my health. And that's where nutrition comes in, but more specifically meditation, yoga, which is what helps to actually realign our chakras, our aura inside, and our energy, right? Whatever it is that we've been focusing on, especially if you deal with a lot of stress, this is a huge one. And why wellness coaching is what I would bring up to my clients would be how to make meditation a part of their life. And I'm not telling you have to meditate an hour a day. It can literally be 5 to 10 minutes if that's all you have time for, if that's all that you have your attention span for as well, because not everyone can focus for like an hour of meditation. But for me, that's become a natural habit from now on. My whole life, it's been like over 3 years already that I diligently meditate an hour a day, fasted before breakfast, as soon as I wake up, because that's what sets the tone for my day, but it also helps me to focus on how I want my day to look, and is where I connect with God. So for me, spirituality is a huge part of my health and wellness, because it's what gives me not only faith and hope, but I have someone greater than me and than any human being supporting me on my journey. And that's a huge part of health and wellness. And psychologically, there's been research done on this, and people who believe in a higher power, a higher source, who believe in God, who have spirituality as a main part of their life, are 98% healthier than those who are atheists, meaning those don't believe in anything, don't have faith, because those are struggling, those people, with worry, fear, and anxiety, and all of this will affect our health and wellness. And that's where emotional well-being, as part of the wellness part of this phrase, comes in, and is where my soul coaching brand comes in as well. But I do bring in a lot of this knowledge into my wellness coaching service, because it really is all tying in together. So yeah, that would be my answer to what health and wellness means to me. So how long have I been on this health and wellness journey? Well, I'm currently 32 years old, and for as long as I can remember, pretty much since I was a very young girl, I want to say my interest in activity and sports and dance more than anything began when I was like only 10 years old. From 10 to 14, I was dancing in dance class, so this was a huge part of my life, movement. But then when I turned 14, which was in high school, I actually became a part of my high school's track team and cross country, so running team. And I played tennis on the side as well. And that's where I actually started doing research on nutrition, because I needed nutrition to perform in my sports. And I had a coach during that time that would recommend that we get enough calories to be able to perform our highest and win races, right? So I had to do some of this research on my own. And during that time in high school, I wasn't really taking any nutrition courses. So all of this was done through self-study. And it was from the years of 14 to 18 that by my own self-study and self-observation, I mastered the art of nutrition, and I would cook my own healthy meals. This is where I actually learned to cook by myself. I would remember every time coming back from my after-school activity, which was sports, and I had the house to myself because my parents were working till late, and I would just try new recipes. I would start, one of the first recipes that I ever did was brown rice, and I became absolutely in love with brown rice, and it became a staple in my diet. And I would make my own breakfast as well. I would make my lunches for taking the next day to school. And that's how my journey and interest in nutrition began at a very, very early young age. And it's what kept me healthy, kept me strong. I got good grades in school. I was able to have the stamina to stay up late at nights doing homework, because I would get a ton of homework during my high school years. And so then when I went into college, I was still very interested in nutrition, but I kind of stepped it up the next level. This is where I now started to do more research on not only health goals, but also body composition goals and how nutrition would affect that. So I was always, very healthy looking throughout all of my years. And if anything, I was very, lean throughout all those years because I was in sports and I was eating healthy and just the right amount of food, right? And so when I entered college, this habit sticked through, right? It continued. But it's where I actually started to experiment more with baking. So this, you all know that I love baking, but I only bake healthy goods. So I don't do any unhealthy baking. You will never see me use regular ingredients in a baking recipe. It's just not my thing, and I just can't do it because it doesn't vibrate with who I am inside, right? So I'm very authentic and genuine with everything in my life, and that includes the kitchen. So everything is healthy, and it's the only thing that I will recommend, right? If I'm gonna serve you a coffee as well, I'm not gonna give you regular sugar, and I'm not gonna give you something that's been lab made. I'm gonna give you something that's natural, like a natural sweetener, whether it's monk fruit or stevia, and it just tastes just the same, right? Of course, at the beginning, you need to get used to those taste buds, but once you get into this habit, maybe this is one of your health and wellness goals, changing your taste buds, right? Because this is a huge part of why people don't change their way of eating or using certain products that they know in their heart is not healthy, but it's because they're afraid that they're not going to like the taste, or it's just not tasty to them, but it just comes with time. You need to kind of cleanse your body from previous taste buds that are not healthy, and that's where cleanses come in. And this is something that I'm going to be doing. I always do at the beginning of the year, a special cleansing juicing project. So this is coming up soon, but that's going to help with restabilizing your taste buds so that you can introduce healthier foods now, right? And so, as I was saying, in college is when I started to experiment more with baking and just different recipes, right? And so that just continued until college, and then now where I am now after I graduated, in college, right? Like 10 years plus after, and I'm still interested in all this stuff. And if anything, it's gotten more intense because when I was around 25, 26, around those two ages, because I went to graduate school for nutrition for 2 years. So it was literally like 5 years as I was into my psychology career. I finished my psychology career, my master's, which is a whole 7-year journey. So after that, when I was already working in the psychology field on the side, which I know was a lot on my plate during that time, which is the reason why I actually couldn't finish graduate school. It wasn't because of my grades, or it wasn't because I didn't want to. It was actually because of my time constraint and the psychology career that I had on the side. So I just took a few classes as like a hobby for my own self-study, and it helped me tremendously understand even deeper holistic nutrition. And where it brings me now here today, like 5 years later, basically after that, and having even a little bit of experience I work with athletes and just people who wanted to make nutrition a part of their healthy lifestyle. So we did get like an internship experience there. So now, as I created my business 2 years ago, my health and wellness brand, side to side with my soul coaching brand, I've even learned more because I've begun to taught herbology master course. So I know a whole lot about herbology, which is a part of my life. I make herbal teas all the time. I use herbs in my meals. So herbology is like a part of my lifestyle. Science of yoga and meditation is something that I also actually did training with someone as well, a yoga teacher, and that had to accelerate my spiritual practice as well. But specifically when it comes to nutrition, I just started doing my own research, and again, my nutrition lectures are part of that research that I've done, written articles as part of a compilation of the research that I've done. So different topics that I was interested, like metabolism topics or hormonal topics, I did a lot of research on that. And I have a strong belief that that also is the reason why every person's meal plan differs, because there's always something underlying. If they're dealing with a health issue or they're dealing with something that's off, maybe their metabolism is not responding, that has to either be done a hormonal change, like something needs to be fixed hormonally. Maybe they do need to seek out doctor checkup, but a lot of the times is these little pieces of knowledge that many people don't know that I've done the research on, right? So this is where and why I recommend that you seek guidance if you feel that your lifestyle that you created for yourself is not working. Maybe you created your own meal plan, maybe you're eating healthy, but maybe you're either not eating enough food or maybe it is too much food. But most of the cases, specifically with women, because I have worked a lot more with women when it comes to nutrition, is the fact that they're not eating enough. You know, women are afraid to eat a lot of the times. Not all women, right? But the women who are actually in search of health and wealth and wellness, and that's like a main part of their focus or their goal, a lot of the times they're not eating enough, and that can affect metabolism. They can either gain weight or then they can have health issues. It can go either or, right? So that's just one example. But I really hope that this helped to clarify, you know, that I feel more than qualified to be able to give nutritional and wellness advice, because personally I've done this myself on my own life, and I have a lot of education with this topic. So I hope that this really motivated you all to seek out and reach out to me and get to know me, and maybe I can be your coach this new year. Go to christieramirez.com/health and wellness. Namaste.